Whether you're saving for a vacation or saving up to travel full time like us, we wanted to tell you our story of how we saved up $50,000 so that we could be full-time travel journalists.
Full-time travel is something we've thought about for a long time, and we just recently announced that we are quitting our jobs to travel the world. Saving up this amount of money was not easy. It required a lot of sacrifice and a lot of education to figure out exactly how to do it. But now that we've done it, we want to share with you the exact steps that we took to be able to save up this much money.
We got married right after we graduated college. So what that meant for us was that we still had lots of student loans that we had to pay off. So in about our first year of marriage, we were dedicated to paying off those student loans because we didn't want that hanging over our heads. So we saved about 60% of our income and put that all to student loans, and we were living off like 40% of our income. Basically, we were putting all of Jacob's paychecks to the student loans and living off of my paycheck. So when it became time that we wanted to start saving up to travel full time, we actually didn't have to change that much because we were already used to living off of so little and putting so much aside. It's not like we had these like crazy jobs that paid us so much money. Like they're very average jobs. We just were dedicated to saving this money so that we could travel.
A little background about why we even wanted to travel in the first place. Ever since our honeymoon that we took to Barbados and Grand Cayman, we realized that 2 weeks of vacation every year just wasn't quite enough for us. We were excited to always go on those vacations because we knew it was really special, but we really wanted to explore more of the world as fast as possible so we could gain an understanding of the different people that live around our world and the cultures and also the food that they eat too. And so it just felt right for us to take as much time as possible to actually travel the way we wanted to.
So now that you have a little background about why we want to do this and how we kind of did it with our 60-40 split, we are going to talk about the more specific details about how we saved the $50,000.
There are two different strategies that we used to be able to save up this amount of money. The first one is cutting expenses. This one took a little more sacrifice than I think we realized when we first made this decision. We had to cut out things that we didn't really think were that important or added enough value to our life. And this kind of was a continuation from when we were so dedicated to paying off the student loans. We had to cut out things like eating out all the time to like restaurants that we enjoy, or just not buying the nice clothing that we might have wanted to.
Had to cut out going to Starbucks many times a week.
There were some tough decisions made in this household about, what kind of places we were going to go to and where we would spend money. Specifically, like with coffee, like Starbucks and Chick-fil-A just had to go. And so, like, these were things that we were probably used to doing like before we got married. But I think like when we got married, we really just made the decision that like it was okay to cut out some of these things and to make certain sacrifices for the betterment of our finances as a married couple.
And like, really, would you rather have Starbucks and Chick-fil-A or like a safari in Africa? Obviously the safari in Africa for us. For some people it's Starbucks and Chick-fil-A, and that's okay too. But we were willing to make that sacrifice so that we could travel.
Yeah, we don't want to, impose what we did on anybody, but these are just things that we wanted to do in order to get to full-time travel as fast as possible.
And like, instead of going to Starbucks every week or whatever, I would just switch out for Dunkin' because Dunkin' had like $2 coffees, whereas Starbucks were like $5. So there was some give and take there. It wasn't like we totally cut out this thing and we were just so sad about our lives, just living like little whatever. like we still were able to enjoy our life and not just cut out everything enjoyable. We knew that we had to start growing our income a little bit more than what we were making already so we could speed up the process of traveling sooner and quitting our jobs and everything. So we both started doing like side hustle jobs. I started teaching English online to kids in different countries. I would do this in the middle of the night at like 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. And Jacob started door dashing and doing Uber Eats and all of this stuff. And yeah, that also really helped us. And it wasn't that much of a time commitment. It was just like a few extra hours a day for a few days a week. And we just put all that money aside, and that helped us save so much money.
Yeah, I think growing our income was just as important as cutting back our expenses. Like they both work hand in hand to help us save up the most amount of money that we could. It was so important to just realize that we had a bunch of time throughout all of our days to where we could dedicate to making more money. We could actually spend maybe like 2 hours a day just making a little bit more money. And I know that that doesn't seem like very much, or it would make a big impact, but it really did. Like all of this extra money that we were making, we were able to put 100% of it towards traveling and making more videos and getting to explore the world.
This was a grind. We really had to hone in for this like year and a half that we were saving for travels, and we had to work really freaking hard. But I mean, we've already been to Costa Rica and French Polynesia and Mexico, and when you're there and you're experiencing it, it just makes it all worth it. And all of these sacrifices that we had to make, they really all just washed away as soon as we were able to really truly follow our dream of traveling and exploring the world. So it is hard in the moment, but you just have to think about like the long-term gratification. People want instant gratification, and you do not get instant gratification when you're saving money to travel. It is long-term gratification.
Which meant that we had to live a little bit different from most people. And so, yeah, when other people were, lounging around the house after a work day, I would continue to keep working, and Jenny would do the same thing just in the morning, in the middle of the night. And so, that is just something we were willing to do, and we realized the long-term impact that these little things would have on our life. And we just realized we would be so much better off doing this small thing now and it lead to something so much greater.
And Jacob was able to actually grow our money more than what we were earning. So I'm gonna let him talk about that because I'm not very good at that stuff.
So at the beginning of the video, I talked about how we needed a lot of education. And what this really meant was I had to learn about the way that money really worked. I've always thought money was interesting, but there's just so much you could learn about it. And so what this meant for me was I had to really study where it was best to put our money to have it grow for the short term and the long term. So I really looked into things like the stock market and things like tax advantaged accounts and our 401k plans, just all these little things that people don't spend too much time looking at, but they were actually really fascinating to learn about. And it helped us actually grow our money a lot faster than I thought it ever could. We started out looking at Jenny's 401k plan at her job. She had one currently because she had been at her job longer and I didn't have one. And so I knew that we wanted to save money for the future. And so we added extra money into her 401k plan. But what I quickly realized is this was giving us good tax advantages, but we weren't able to pull that money out and actually use it for travel. And so we kind of scaled that back and started adding to things like our Roth IRA. What this did was it did not give us tax advantages up front, but it is much better than a savings account because we could put our money into the stock market and actually grow it a lot faster than if it was sitting in our savings account. And this was very nice because we realized that all the money that we contributed to this account, we could actually take it out and use it for travel whenever we wanted. So what this meant was we had about half of our money in our savings account and half of our money in our Roth IRA. And so when we're traveling, we will first use the money that we have in our savings account. And if we run out of money there, then we will be able to take money out of our Roth IRA account with no penalty. And that is very nice because that money, half of our money, is actually growing at a very high rate in the stock market right now.
That was just kind of like a basic overview of like the Roth IRA, 401k stuff, and a little bit of our side hustles. Jacob actually has his own YouTube channel all about this stuff, and it's really cool. It's doing a lot better than this one, so if you guys are interested in more of like the side hustles and money, financial stuff, you should definitely check out Jacob's channel. It's called Jacob Warren, DoorDash and Finance, and we'll probably link it somewhere so you can check that out if you're interested in that stuff.
This was actually something that we didn't think would be part of our full-time plan, but we realized that it actually can be a huge part. All this stuff that I've learned along the way has actually helped me be able to have the knowledge to create videos about this topic. And so both of our channels, like YouTube can give us quite a bit of money from these channels if we grow them big enough. And so like this is actually part of our plan, is to make money off of these videos so that we can continue to travel full time and then make even better videos for you to watch.
So hopefully the whole YouTube thing works out for us. If not, that's okay. It wasn't the plan for us, but we are hoping that we will be here long term so that we can keep producing travel videos and finance videos for you guys on Jacob's channel. So we really hope that you've enjoyed this video, and yeah,
just watching this video supports us a ton. So thank you guys so much for doing that. If you found this video helpful at all, please give the video a like and consider subscribing to join us on our journey as we continue this journey to full-time travel.
We're going to lots of fun places, so we hope you guys tag along.